Welcome to Valeo. It was here at this spot 4 years ago. Valeo has announced a strong ambition to return to the truck market, to return with solutions that create unique value for this unique industry. And we have called this ambition fleet owner-minded. So we have asked all our engineers, there are more 11,000 engineers we have, we asked them, put yourself in the hearts and the minds of a truck operator, of a fleet owner, and ask yourself, what would you expect from Valeo? What parts, what concepts, what technologies we should deliver? And we found out the fleet owner, the most important demands are on CO2 reduction, on cost reduction for operating the trucks, and also comfort and safety for the driver and for the traffic. Today we are on this road, we have advanced quite a bit, and we are accelerating. And I invite you now to discover what our engineers have come up with, what ideas they have to bring to this industry. And I'll divide this into 4 different levels. I will talk about visibility, to see and to be seen, about comfort and driving assistance, about powertrain solutions, and about thermal systems, all and every time in mind, CO2 reduction, cost reduction, and comfort and safety. Let's first introduce what our engineers have brought up for visibility. You know, Valeo is one of the leaders of head and tail lights, and also in LED lighting. And we feel now it's time for full LED lights also on trucks. Because LED lights have 4 distinct advantages. They are simply more bright. You have daylight like light emission and reflections. They emit more light than halogen, between 20 and 50% higher light output than halogen. They have more life, between 15, maybe 20,000 hours to full truck life we can put in their light, so no more bulb replacements. And they have more technology, like active high beam, like the glare-free beaming. All these technologies are coming with LED lights. And the best of all, they save you money. So, summarizing, what does it mean? It brings a CO2 reduction of up to 2 grams per kilometer, or up to 50, 60, 100 euro per year on diesel consumption. Cost reduction, maintenance-free, no bulb replacement during regular truck life cycles. And comfort and safety, daylight color for maximum visibility. Now, after the lights, we thought, these wipers, a classical wiper, you know, we are #1 in wipers in the world. The classical wiper, they need some innovation for trucks. And typically, you know, wipers, they project a huge amount of water, and it takes you a split second until finally the wiper clears up the screen. We think this is not good. We propose a solution called AquaBlade, where we have many, many holes, up to 100 in a long blade, that project the water exactly where it needs to be, precisely and accurately, and wipes it up directly afterwards. And you find here on this show several applications, including for large buses and big screens, where our AquaBlade is today already in production. To be fleet owner-minded, what would this mean for you? This would mean CO2 reduction, mass reduction, because you need a half-size reservoir compared to what we had before. Cost reduction on the water fluid, obviously, and no visual disturbance. Actually, a better cleaning from the screen than you have known before. And you think this is just a detail. This is the most important detail. It's not us, it's Fraunhofer Gesellschaft, the famous research institute, who found out that by not being blinded by the water, by always being able to see, you win up to 4-meter braking distance in terms of emergency braking at city speed, just because you have an 0.3 second faster reaction time. This is what we call fleet owner-minded. Now, this technology actually brings you something else, and we all love our smartphones. So do our engineers. Clean for you with your wiping solutions. Imagine now winter is coming, frost is coming, you get up in the morning, 6 o'clock, and you find out, oh, it was a cold night. So it's a whole frosted cabin and the screen is there. What do? Well, the one solution is you go out and take out the long ice cream and you scratch it. Many people don't do this. The other one, you start your engine, let it running, and wait until it's cleaned up. Also not the right solution. Valeo has the future solution with your smartphone. Clean for you. Imagine on this wiper, we project actually a defrosting liquid. And then we move the wiper a few degrees and another defrosting liquid, and then another few degrees. Interval by interval, we go up and then we clean the screen twice. And in 90 seconds, your screen is fully clean, you're ready to start. And I tell you, the best is in summer, we make the same thing with the insects. This is clean for you with Valeo Aquablades. What does it bring for you in terms of fleet owner minded? CO2 reduction, engine off during defrost or debug loop. Cost reduction, no wasted time to defrost or debug manually. And comfort and safety, the driver can do something serious. He can have a shower, have a coffee, or prepare for the day, rather than climbing up and scratching the windscreen. That's what we call fleet owner minded. Now, modern trucks, more and more have not just the driver who's looking. There are many other devices, cameras and lidars and radars, who try to look out. And I have this one here, my glasses. What do I do when they are not as clean as they have been new? And I take out my little towel and I clean this. What do we do with your camera? What do we do with the lidar and the radar in the truck? Exactly. A dirty lens gives a corrupted video signal, and this is prone for danger. This is something non-negligible if we want to have autonomous trucks, platooning, electronic tow bars. So therefore, Valeo has invented a full range of sensor cleaning solutions that you can see here on our booth afterwards. What does it mean in terms of fleet owner-minded? CO2 reduction, because platooning electronic tow bar is possible. Cost reduction, because we have an increased uptime, especially for automated trucks. And comfort and safety, because we maintain the functionality of the critical sensors in all conditions. Now we've talked about the visibility area, but there's another area that is between visibility and driving assistance. This is this one here. Do you think this one here is fleet owner minded? I think it's heavy. You see it's dirty, and it's prone to crash, especially on tight yard situation when you pull the trucks back and forth, go up and down. This always prone for risk to be crashed. And finally, it helps or it supports blind spots, or there are blind spots left. What does this mean with blind spots? We have deadly accidents, and we know this. 2 years ago, Mercedes here on this show informed us that 1 out of 5 accidents with cyclists and bicycles are due to blind spot involving trucks and buses when the driver could not see the cyclists while turning left or right. So that's what Valeo is doing, sort of this side stream mirror replacement. But you can see it here in this case. This is our solution. Camera up here and the display inside the cabin. What does this mean? More safety, clear view in all weather conditions. Whether it's wind, it's rain, it's night, whether you are overtaking or you have other real driving conditions, you always have the clear view inside the cabin, enhanced with the software. And of course here, this is what we do with the camera. What does this bring for you as a fleet owner? This brings you CO2, airflow, drag reduction, significant aerodynamic advantage. This brings you cost reduction, repair and insurance cost decrease, obviously, and improved visibility in low light in adverse weather conditions, finally reducing accidents. So when we've done all this, why do we do all this? Why do we do this? Because we want to have the driver to actually have his eyes on the road. What does it mean have the driver have his eyes on the road? So we have a series of intuitive interior controls. These are the traditional ones you see here. These are obvious, you know them, but also our head-up display, straight from fighter aircrafts. Head-up display to project the key information in front of the driver. And why is this so important? No? Have you ever thought about how often do you look down to your display? So every minute, approximately, you look down, it takes half a second. Or in 2 minutes, you spend 1 second by looking at your instruments. No? If you project this for a full day of 8 hours, you have in total 4 minutes you have not looked at the road. Your truck has traveled 5 kilometers when you, as driver, were not looking because you were trying to identify your instrument cluster. That's exactly what a head-up display makes a difference. You have your eyes always on the road. Key ingredients for a safe driving at all conditions. No? Now, fleet owner-minded is not only for the driver and the cabin, it's obviously also for the powertrain. Let's start with a more fancy electrification that we have everywhere here on the show. And Valeo, the leader in 48-volt, proposes here the new belt starter generators, 48-volt design. You can put them here, but also in the other positions along the driveline. What does it bring for you? Torque support to accelerate, to take off the load, to take off the trailer at the traffic light. It helps engines or vehicle speed maintaining while you are shifting the gears, and it helps recuperation of energy during braking. Torque support up to 15 kilowatt and recuperation between 6 and 8 kilowatt depending on your technology application. This is really a clear argument for smart electrification, and it brings you as a fleet owner between 5 and 10% fuel saving on urban duty cycles for light or medium duty trucks. It brings obviously cost reduction as we integrate it where your alternator is mounted today in the truck, scale economy for millions produced from passenger cars, and noise reduction for the driver and the environment when you switch off the engine while waiting. Now you would say, powertrain, this is just electric, there's something else. Where's here engine and transmission? Now let's focus today on what is in between the engine and transmission. And here Valeo comes with a 1 million ticket, with a 1 million kilometer life cycle idea. So look at our clutch. There's a reason that Valeo is leader in worldwide commercial vehicle clutches. We have about 40% market share in Europe and about 20% market share worldwide. We are going to double this by the end of the decade. No? We have a real leadership in this field. Why? Because we propose you clutches like this one here. High torque, low stiffness temper, 40% less vibration to downspeed the engine, and up to 4,200 Newton meters to transmit. What does it bring for you as the fleet owner? It brings you obviously CO2 reduction up to 3% due to downspeeding of the engine. Cost reduction because you have increased lifetime of the whole drivetrain with less vibrations, and obviously noise reduction. Now we have all these technical devices you have seen. Where's the well-being? Yeah, the well-being is important as well. Let's start with the well-being of our engine. And what do you do in winter when you go out? When you go out in winter, you close your coat because it's cold. And when you go up the mountain, and then you go up there, then it's warm and you open up your coat again. And that's exactly what we do with the active grill shutters. With the active grill shutter, we close against the cold air in the morning when we start, and we open up during the day. We halven the time for the engine warm-up, really critical in your emission cycle. And once it's warm, we have an accurate heat and heat loss management. This is for the engine to manage the temperature. Now we know there's another element more and more important that is even more sensitive than the engine, which is the battery. And Valeo as a leader in thermal management for batteries, including these famous electric cars from United States, we provide solutions that help the battery to be the accurate condition from Alaska to Sicilia with a complete battery cooling scope up to even several square meters of size. And each and every cell is connected to our cooling system to have the right temperature and the right well-being of the battery. Now, you've got the battery and the engine. What else you want to have well-being at work? You want to make sure that also the HVAC, also the driver feels well, has the right temperature in the cabin, whether it's hot or whether it's cold, with a blower motor in brushless technology saving CO2 emissions. So altogether, we would end up having with better aerodynamics with your air grill shutter, a better CO2 with a brushless blower motor, cost reduction due to fuel consumption, and finally noise reduction significantly when you live in your cabin for the whole day. And now you might ask yourself, this is now the small cabin with 1 or 2 drivers. How about I have a big cabin? I have a cabin where there's another 60 passengers behind me and they want to be air conditioned as well. That's what Valeo thought, and we have lined up. We have acquired Spheros, the leader in bus HVAC. And you can see here Spheros in Hall 11. They're exhibiting their famous rooftop HVAC solutions. And you find them also on many buses in and around the Hall 11. And jointly with Valeo, we have a full set of commodities to actually be the leader in HVAC solutions around the world, from Brazil to India and from China to North America, with smart solutions for your bus. So altogether, this has changed dramatically our business numbers. You might recall our commitment here in this place. Our commitment was €1 billion sales in commercial vehicles. Now we can say we have this €1 billion achieved this year. We will achieve it by end of this year, because thanks to Spheros, we can pull ahead by 4 years our commitment of reaching 1 billion sales on commercial vehicle. And you can also see by the green bars how strongly it is growing even before Spheros came in. We managed to double the order intake right after the show here in 2014 to 2015. And why is this the case? Because Valeo is famous for our innovation. More than 1/3 of our business we make with products that are less than 3 years in the market. More than 10% of our sales are dedicated to R&D, and more than 1,400 patents in 1 year. This is, in other words, 4 patents every day, Saturday and Sunday included. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen fleet our-minded, that is our ambition. We have made a long trip on this road, and we are committed to continue on this road. So join us on this road, stay with us, and thank you very much for your attention.